What a great time to be out foraging and exploring. Check that out, eh? Wild strawberries. Doesn't get any better than that, but that's not the reason why I'm making this video today. As the title's going to indicate, this video is about a thing called Erbswurst. It dates back to the 1800s, the late 1800s. It's a style of sausage type of thing that doesn't contain meat. It's made out of basically split pea soup, stuffed into a sausage casing and dehydrated. And I know it's still commercially made today. I believe Knorr's soup company or food company makes that, and it's probably available in various parts of the world where you can just walk into a store and buy this Erbswurst. But it's not available here like that, and I've been kind of fascinated by it and curious about it ever since I heard of it. And I know I could probably go online and find places where they sell it, but I thought, why not try to make it myself? So that's what this video is about today. And I've actually already done my experiment. The project is over. But I wanted to make this little intro video or intro clip here to give you the rundown on what I'm doing. If you're curious about Erbswurst, I'll put some more information below the video, including a clip from Horace Kephart, well-known woodsman, and he had some opinions on the Erbswurst thing, and I'm gonna have to say I agree with him. So we'll carry on from here, and I'll bring you along with me while I do my Erbswurst experiment, and we'll see how it turns out. Ration that you can take out into the field with you, and apparently it rehydrates easily, and it's got lots of good stuff in it. I mean, we've got the peas. I've actually got the peas working already back here in my pot, and I'm going to add carrot to it, onion, garlic, and it's in chicken stock. I'm not making the split pea soup with a ham bone this time, so it's not going to have the nice connective tissues and marrow and fat and that kind of thing in it. And the reason I did that is because I want to make sure that this stuff doesn't go rancid while it's drying and in storage and when I carry it out in the heat. So in order to do this, all you need to do is make a basic batch of split pea soup, and I'm making it on the thicker side right from the start, using less water than I normally would, and this might be the more difficult thing to find. This is the sausage casing that I'm going to use. It comes in two different sizes. This is a man-made collagen based kind of sausage casing. I'm not going to use regular hog casings for various reasons, but the way this stuff works is it comes in tubes that are probably about like this long when you first get them, and the sausage casing just peels out. It's in layers here. And any butcher store that makes their own breakfast sausage or pepperoni is likely to have this kind of thing kicking around, and it's kind of like snake skin, dry and that. But yeah, with the two different sizes, I'm going to do a bit of an experiment with that and see what works best. I'll show you that when I get to it. And in case you're wondering, this is one of my favorite kitchen knives. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there, but it's a Mora small chef knife. I really enjoy using this knife, and if you ever see one in your travels, I recommend you pick it up. It was cheap, maybe $14 or less. I can't remember exactly, but I've had it for years. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to get the chop in here, and I'll show you the stuffing, the casings, and hanging out dry in a minute. Well, I've tried a few different things to get this stuff into the casing, and So far this is the only way that's working, is just taking a funnel and putting the casing over the end and just forcing it in there. You know, it's messy, but it's working. Maybe if I had a proper piping tool for decorating cakes, that might work better. My sausage stuffer is just too big. So here's the finished product after about a week of air drying. You can see the big one here had a little bit of shrinkage and it's got some air pockets in there, but I don't think that's going to affect it. It's thoroughly dry, and of course the small one dried out a lot faster, but they both dried out right through in a week, at least in the climate that I'm in here. So I'm gonna cut some of this up and take it out with me today and see how it does rehydrating. Well, here's a nice find. This is called nodding onion. And the reason it's called that is because you can see the stem of the flower here bends over and the flower points down towards the ground. And it looks like it's nodding. So the part that you use out of this is down here at the base. Let's go ahead and dig up this bulb. Let's have a look at what we get here. Still a little ways. Okay. Oops, I cut into that one. There's some rocks in there, but take a look at that. That thing smells awesome. There's no mistaking that that's a member of the garlic family, really, is what that smells like. So I'm going to go ahead and gather up a few more of these without destroying them like I did this one. And I'm going to add them to my Erbswurst after I get it going there. So when I was down in the valley bottom, I gathered up some of this birch bark, and now that I've come up to the top of a hill here, got some of this horse's hair lichen, or old man's beard, or witch's hair, whatever you want to call it. And I've gathered some of that up too. I haven't done anything to this stuff, but man, the wind and the sun has really dried this out, so I'm just going to show you how I could easily get spoiled by this. It's a far cry from starting a fire in the rainforest, that's for sure. The water's come to a full-on boil here. I've got something else cooking inside the fire here too. That is a bacon that I made. It's called buckboard bacon. Like so many other things, there's a lot of different recipes for what people would call buckboard bacon. But the one that I made is cured in molasses and brown sugar. So I'm gonna add this in here and see how quickly it rehydrates. And then after that, I'm probably going to add some of the bacon into the mix along with those onions. So in she goes. Trying to avoid getting the casing falling in there too. Not that that'd be a problem. I mean, it is edible. Okay, that ought to be enough. That wasn't very much, maybe a tablespoon or so. Maybe I'll just pull it off to the side of the fire and let it sit for a minute. It's still at a full rolling boil in there. So let's have a look and see what it's doing. Well, there's no chunks left. The soup looks a little thin though, so I'm gonna add a little bit more, and I gotta do some fire maintenance here. Whew, smoke. Got that buckboard bacon sizzling away. That's an awesome mixture. The molasses and coarse salt and brown sugar really do a lot for the flavor. This is a pork shoulder roast, also known as a Boston butt, that I use for that. You buy a boneless butt and cure it for about a week in a dry rub of that mixture. That's awesome stuff. That flavor is making my mouth water, the smell of it. So I wound up adding about 3 tablespoons probably of my Erbswurst. As you can see here, it really hasn't gone back to the texture and consistency of the pea soup before it started off, but at least it's got some flavor and it'll be okay. I tasted it and it's not bad flavor wise. Next time I think I'd probably make it saltier so that it'll make things a little more exciting there when you're out on the trail. But now that I've gotten that far, I'm going to do my thing here, add the bacon and the onions and let it simmer for a little bit. And then maybe I'll actually be able to enjoy this Erbswurst after all. So I'm just going to give you a quick look at the end result here before I douse the fire and carry on here. Let's have a look. Oh, with the addition of that bacon and onion, oh man, look at all that bacon in there. Whew. There's a chunk of that onion too. You know, the broth is really kind of thin, and I added in the end about 3 tablespoons. But I could have added more. I had probably about 9 tablespoons altogether with me, and it weighs next to nothing. So with the addition of this stuff, it's actually going to make a passable meal here. Might even say it's good. Okay, looks like you made it through the experiment there. How exciting can dehydrated split pea soup be, right? But now we know. Erbswurst might be different if you bought it in the store. I don't know. I don't have any experience with the commercially available products, so I can't really say. But as far as making it for a wilderness situation goes, for wilderness travel or wilderness self-reliance, I don't think I'm completely sold on the concept there. I think you'd be further ahead just to dehydrate whatever soup you prefer and have some variety and store it in containers that are lightweight and waterproof. In the late 1800s, I'm sure it was a miracle food and it kept a lot of people alive. In this day and age though, with the good containers and variety of food that we have, there's no reason why we can't have more things on the go. In my opinion, that type of soup is really just a base for a meal. It's not really a meal in itself unless you're in a real survival situation, in which case it's better than nothing. But it'll keep you going, but that's about it. And won't do much for your morale either. So I'm really glad I had the bacon and those wild onions along to add to it, because I think that's the role that kind of a thing will fill. If you're able to sustain some meat or fish or forage for some other wild edibles to add to that soup, you're in a good situation. You know, you got the base there, and you can actually make it something that you'll enjoy, and it'll be sustaining and satisfying. In fact, here on the back of my pack you can see that I got that water bottle / cooking pot that I use, and it's got the remainder, the bottom half of that soup still in there, and it's cooling off, and that's enough food right there that if I didn't find anything else to eat today, I have either supper or breakfast whichever I want it to be, and that'll keep me going for a while as I continue foraging on the move. And in that role, I think it is a good product, a good thing to make, possibly a good thing to buy, I don't know. But in that way, I'm going to say the experiment was a success, but as far as stuffing into sausage casing goes, I don't think it serves a purpose in this modern day and age of great containers and portable food. So that's my take on it. I'm going to get moving here before the mosquitoes settle in too bad on me. Thanks for sticking around, and catch you on the next video.